What's up, all you beautiful, gorgeous 6'8" people out there? I want to preface this video by saying, first off, if you didn't read the entire title of this video, you might be expecting some Madden 16 gameplay. Well, unfortunately, this is actually some Madden 15 gameplay because there really isn't too many videos out there. Well, actually, there isn't a video out there currently of the Tennessee Titans in Madden 16. The only video out there is actually someone recording a TV at E3 with the Titans versus some other team. I really wasn't sure who they were playing, but unfortunately this isn't Madden 16. I do have the current rosters that I downloaded recently, which has all of the offseason moves the Titans have made going into next season. So Marcus Mariota is there, Green Beckham's on the team, all those offseason moves, all the people the Tennessee Titans drafted are in this gameplay right here. As I said, it's Madden 15, so sorry if you expected some Madden 16 gameplay. I didn't want to mislead you guys. And now let's actually talk about this. I'm making this video with the intent, as you guys know, if you follow my Connected Franchise series, that I'm looking at playing with the Tennessee Titans in Madden 16 as my new franchise team, which means I want to look at them. Ooh, picked it off. There we go, Parrish Cox. But anyways, guys, as I was saying, I wanted to make this video with some expectations for the Tennessee Titans. I look at them with the possible rankings in next year in Madden 16. Mariota's on the team, as I said. They have, some people coming back. They added to their roster. So let's talk about this offense first off. And actually, I want to say the Tennessee Titans have really been my go-to secondary team, I want to say. I don't really root for anyone else, but if I was to root for another team, it would be the Tennessee Titans, particularly because back in the day, they had Eddie George, they had Steve McNair, they have Keith Pollock. I was a big fan. I'm a big Ohio State fan, and Eddie George was the man. They had the Music City Miracle. I love Eddie George, and he was on this team. So, the Titans have always been sort of my secondary team, sort of a team that I like as a backup team if, for whatever reason, somehow the Bengals moved away. But that's just a side note. So anyways, guys, on offense, they reloaded. They did a pretty decent job, actually, in the offseason of getting some talent at the wide receiver position. As I said, in the second round, they drafted Green Beckham, who is a receiver from Missouri. He was, they're expecting him to be that go-to receiver. He has the type of body of a Calvin Johnson, of a Dez Bryant. So he has the potential there to be a go-to deep threat for Marcus Mariota and this Titans offense. They also add some veteran wide receivers. They added Harry Douglas out on the perimeter, and they add Hakeem Nicks also. So they have a decent wide receiver core, a pretty young wide. I believe the oldest veteran on their wide receiver core is actually 6 years. Everyone that is younger, so they have a good core of wide receivers coming back. And of course, they drafted Marcus Mariota. Now, going into this, Marcus Mariota, I'm expecting him to be probably upper 70s. He was a second-round pick for the Titans, or not second-round pick, the second pick overall for the Titans, and he was a spread offensive quarterback for the Oregon Ducks. I'm pretty sure you guys know this because you're all football fans, of course. But anyways, expect some more read option coming from the Titans this year, utilizing that Oregon-style playbook. Maybe not the up-tempo type, but Oregon likes to get their quarterback out on the edge. Let's have some spread out, some roll-out offense, and I'm expecting them to be able to run some plays out of the shotgun with Marcus Mariota. As I said, I'm expecting him to be probably about a 70, higher 70s overall, lower 80s in that range. Maybe probably the highest he's going to be, in my estimation, and this is all speculation, guys, so don't take my word for it. It could be completely false. Speculation-wise, I'm thinking he's going to be an 82 overall, somewhere in that range. But the biggest thing for Marcus Mariota and why I'm expecting a ton of people to be using him is because he has that RG3 syndrome, that Michael Vick syndrome. When you're a speedy quarterback, especially in Madden, a lot of people like to use you. So early on and often, you're going to see a lot of people using this Tennessee Titans team when you're playing them online. Maybe in MUT, you're going to see a lot of Marcus Mariota. He's probably going to be that Cam Newton. As I said, Cam Newton. All those running quarterbacks are utilized early and often. So expect that. Speed-wise, he's going to be in the upper 80s. Maybe crack the lower 90s. I doubt it. I'm expecting probably like an 85 to a 90. Probably that range, upper 80s, and that's going to be really good for this team. That's going to be really good for people that like spread quarterbacks. He's going to be a valuable asset to this Tennessee Titans team. Now, overall, the Titans were ranked, I believe they weren't really good as far as rushing. They're 29th overall in yards per game. So they're returning Bishop Sankey, who ran for like 500 yards last season, and their offense, really, if they can get the passing game going, some of that's because they really didn't have a great passing game. but still, the running game is not terrific. It's not super, but in this day and age in the NFL, you don't really need a great rushing attack. So Bishop Sankey, he's probably going to be in the lower 80s, somewhere in that range. Offensive line, I really didn't look too in depth with. I know they have a decent center or maybe a guard somewhere in there. Their offensive line can be built upon, but I'm expecting them to really highlight this offense is the receivers. The best group is the receivers. The best group could be the quarterback. Depending on how well you can do with this connected franchise, you can get Marcus Mariota hopefully to get up there. I don't know what they're going to do overall as far as real life, basically because Marcus Mariota is the key factor. So they went 2-14 this season. They could be markedly improved. I'm expecting them to have some troubles early on in the season, but overall they can improve depending on how Marcus Mariota plays, because they do have some wide receivers out on the edge, and if they can get a run game going, this could be a greatly improved team, one of the best improved teams of next season, from that 2014 team to the 2015 team. But let's talk about this defense, because this defense, once again, they run a 3-4 defense. They've made some great moves this offseason. I haven't really talked about that. I talked about what happened on offense, but defensively, they made some great moves. If you didn't know, they picked up the outside linebacker Brian Orakpo, which is one of the best outside linebackers in the league. As I said, they run that 3-4 defense. Overall, passing yards wise, they gave up, I think they were 13th in the league as far as passing defense yards per game. That's really good. That's in that mid-tier. So we expect them to have a decent passing game, or a decent pass defense, because they brought in a safety too. I can't remember the safety's name, but they brought in safety. They brought in Brian Orakpo. But the biggest challenge for this team is going to be that run defense. Their run defense ranked 32nd overall. They were the worst rush defense in the league, and they did not address that in the offseason. When you run that 3-4 defense, you have to have a big old hoss in there. You have a big old horsey. You have to have a big old elephant in the middle running that nose tackle position, that nose guard position, because that in that 3-4 defense, that really is the anchor of your team. That really is the anchor of your defense. You have to have like a Ravens Haloti Ngata type, a Vincent Wilfork, Albert Hainsworth. You have to have one of these big guys. I think Albert Hainsworth was more of a 3 technique, but I'm not really too sure on that. But you have to have a big body in there to have that run stopper. But as far as linebackers go, they brought back Derek Morgan. As I said, they have Brian Orakpo. They brought in safety. They still have Michael Griffin. They have Parrish Cox. They have a decent, set of cornerbacks. But your second cornerback can be improved once again. But I'm expecting their defense could be the Achilles heel of this team. Actually, no. I'm going to take that back. The offense can be the Achilles heel of this team. But in Madden, when you have a running quarterback, that's not going to be the Achilles heel. The defense and that rushing game, that rushing defense is probably where you're going to see a lot of that weak stuff come up for this team. So expect a lot of people to be using Marcus Mariota because he is a running quarterback. Expect this defense probably to be average, mid-tier, depending on how well they can do, depending on how well they can stop the run, because as I said, they don't have that big body in the middle to stop everything. Now that's really going to take care of my thoughts on the Tennessee Titans. As I said, I may be using them in Madden 16. I'm really not too sure yet. I did a Browns video last week, and now we have the Tennessee Titans taken care of. So guys, once again, leave those votes on who I should use, and I'm probably going to make a straw poll pretty soon on who I should use in the connected franchise. But stay frosty, guys, and remember, I love ya.